So that was a little bit about series. Next is a data frame, which is essentially a table that you're going to be working a lot throughout this course. So same libraries, NumPy, Pandas, and import specifically series and data frame. This is the syntax to create the data frame. Just like series, you just mention data frame and parentheses. And it created the blank data frame, so it returned nothing. But here in this example, we're going to create a data frame using 3 lists here. So first create a list called a data object with the product name, price, and the condition. And then this is how we're going to create the data frame out of this list. So we actually don't need this pd.dataframe. It works with it, but it also works without it. So this is saying, okay, create a data frame with the data object that was created right here, and then we name the columns as product, price, and conditions. Of course, when you're creating a data frame, you can specify the index also, like this. Because the index will always, by default, start at 0 and increment by 1. But in our particular example, we won't specify the index. And just put the default index in there. All right, so here's the new data frame that we created. Now we're going to check the different columns that exist within this data frame. So product, price, condition. And to check for one specific column, you just do name of the data frame object dot condition, which is a column name. So it returns all the values within this column. Or if you want to check at multiple different columns, you'd use this method. So name of the data frame object, comma, and all the columns that you want to look at. So here, product and price is shown as results. And this will be used for data as you begin the data analysis. This will be useful to check the format of your table. So the head method returns the first 5 rows of your table. And you can change the parameter within this method to specify however many number of records that you want this to return. So you can specify 50 or more. And tail does the opposite. It gives you the last 5 records by default. And of course, you can change the number of records. So I know I've gone this super fast, but I'll just pause really quick. Any questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's where you are. I can't see. There's a part where it says df.head and df.tail.
Yeah.
In the cell, it shows you a little table. Why does it only have 1 table, not 2? Because you're calling for head and tail.
I got you.
Oh, because yeah.
There's only 3 rows.
It runs the last one on the line. So if you get rid of the tail, it'll show the head.
Yeah.
Whichever one comes last will show up in your output.
So Jupyter Notebook, because it's mainly for data science and data visualization, that's why it only returns you the last line of code. Well, everything gets run, but what it returns to you is only the last line. You can Google it. There's like 3 or 4 line of code that they will switch it. They will switch it so that it will return the results for every single line of code within the cell. So you'll be able to see all the results within the cell.
That's a configuration setting you can put
Yeah.
in for Jupyter Notebook if you want to. They've got a little blip there that allow you to do that.
But this is why in data science community, Python data science community uses Jupyter Notebook, because using this system of cell block, executing by each cell, it's easy to communicate and show results and display the visualizations compared to when you do web development, you probably wouldn't use Jupyter Notebook. And Jupyter Notebook is also pretty lightweight, so it's not meant for like huge big data. All right, so next is changing the value within a cell, within a column. So you specify a name of the column. Cool. Here, I have it as price and 99. Of course, this isn't very super useful because you're specifying to change the values within a column every row as 99. But you can change the values within a column using by index. So this is how to do that here. So
that index would be record number 1, third column, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is the index.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I see.
So here I'm creating a new series and set the value as, within the series there will be a value of 1 and 3 at index 0 and 2. So first row, in this series, at first row, the value is going to be 1, and at the third row, the value is going to be 3. So we created this new series object, and now we're just going to plug it into the price column, like this. And this is the result. Oh, I didn't run. Yeah, so here's the result. You can see that at index 0, as we specified here, the value is now 1, and at index 2, the value is now 3. Yeah.
How come it doesn't leave the second row as 99 from the previous?
Oh, because we created a new series and just overwritten it. So now, because I didn't specify what would be the value at index 1. So that's a good point, because there is a way to do it, but I just didn't put it in this tutorial. Any other questions up to this point? Okay. Yeah, just know that I'm just always pressing Shift Enter to run the cell and go down a block. And here you can, and this is how you create a new column. You just name the DataFrame object, and then the name of the new column. And you just need to give a dummy kind of values within it, because without it, it's just gonna give you an error. Oh, I already ran the cell. So you always have to specify just kind of placeholder value when you create a new column. And this is to rename a name of the column or a name of the index. So you call the rename method, function, however you want to call it, and set the column equals to, first put in the old column name that you created here, column, and the new column name, which will be variable. And this is just an example of how you'd change the name of the index also. So at index 1, change it to literally just 0. So you can see that the index was changed to 0 and the column name was changed to available. Don't worry about this in place equals true parameter right now, because it's there, because sometimes if you use other IDEs, it won't display the result.
Yeah.
And then home. Alt.
You don't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I see. So click on the result and click on O.
It just hides it.
Yeah. Nice. And then within a table, this is how you sort the table. You call the sort values method. And here in this example, I have it as sort by price first, and then by product. And just like in any other programming or SQL, the default is always ascending. So if you want this values to be sorted in descending order, you give as parameter ascending equals false. If you want it as ascending order, you just remove it. And it's not automatically by default in a display in an ascending order. So you can see that the price and then product. All right, and then to filter the data by different by values, we use the dot query. And here we're saying that show me the rows that has the price less than 3, or this. Remember, this is the or sign, the pipe. Or you can do or. Either way works fine. So, or product that equals to computer. So you can do either way works fine. And just to let you guys know that dot query method is only useful for kind of simple mathematical operators such as greater than, less than, equal to. If you want to do SQL-like equivalent of like the count, sum, group by, or kind of complex like where queries or kind of subqueries, you need to use some other methods. And also, if you're a lot more comfortable with SQL, there is a package that allows you to just write SQL queries and instead of having to know all these different methods and syntaxes for Python. But that's kind of out of the scope of this lecture at least. So if you're really interested, you can look up other resources on Google or YouTube that kind of shows you how you would be able to import SQL or use SQL. And here, we're using kind of the wildcard with dot string dot contains micro. So here we're specifying from the product column, give me any records that has the word micro within it. So microwave came up.
Is it case sensitive?
Yeah, it's case sensitive. You can specify a parameter that tells you the case sensitive equals false or something like that. And here is how you would delete